What's going on, traders? Today is day number 26. That's 2-6 of the $1,000 account challenge. And today we are up the biggest amount that we've been up in the account so far, $292 in the account, or 14.58% of the total portfolio balance. Now, if you don't know, my name is Gates. I'm taking $1,000 and I'm day trading options to see how far we can grow this account. Today was a bit of a fluke type of day, if you will. Us hitting the biggest gain of the challenge so far is not by chance. This is something that was by design. Now, if you watched my video from yesterday, you know I took the biggest loss in the account challenge that I've taken so far, $145. You might be able to discern from that I've been sizing up and using a bit more size, and that is absolutely true. So going into today, again, I'm continuing with that theme. I sized up, used a bit more size, and was able to nab a 15% gain on a single trade on AMD. That put me green on the day, not only making up the loss from yesterday, but also bringing our account balance to $2,300, which is new all-time highs for us in this account. So off of the day trade watch list, what trade did I take? AMD was a short below $164. AMD opens up and goes red and drops exactly down to 164. I'm going to move this to the 1 minute time frame. Drops all the way down to 164. Now I was looking at this as a potential short idea because I wanted to take a trade on a break back down below $164, but AMD had other plans. Instead of it breaking down and continuing down from here, it bounces and runs up. And so when I see this happen, I'm looking at this 1, 2, 3, 4 green candles in a row. Okay, 4 green candles in a row, bouncing all the way from the low of day through the high of day, up to new high of day, and also up to a known area of resistance, which is going to be this green line. That's your previous day's closing price. This move, percentage-wise, from low of day all the way up to the high of day is nearly a 2% move in 4 minutes without any sort of pullback at all. It's just too much extension too soon. So this is the trade that I took. I go short on AMD. Short on AMD against the trend, specifically looking for 10 to 15% gain. And we get exactly that. So I go short on the top of this candle here. We are green the entire trade, and it's just a matter of holding through. We do get the breakdown here close to the VWAP area. We hit our 15% mark, and just by chance, I bottom ticked this, and we're out of the trade. And that is the trade that I made my money on. Now, I did take another trade on Microsoft. That was in my personal account. I'll explain and talk about that trade in just a second. But I want to let you know that my sizing for today comes from a couple of different things. Number one, we have enough profit margin built up in this $1,000 account challenge now to start taking on a bit more risk, right? In the beginning of the challenge, it was really slow start, slow growth. That was by design. You know, I wanted to build up profit margin. I didn't want to take on too much risk. Now we're up over 100% in this account, so I can afford to lose $100 or $200 or $300 and still be up 60 or 70% from my starting balance. So that's why I'm sizing up a bit more. Plus, I will admit, coming off of the biggest loss that we've ever taken in this account challenge so far from yesterday at $145, coming off of that loss, it didn't feel good going into today. So when I see a setup that's as quality as this, you know, it's just too much extension too soon. Low of day to high of day, up to a known point of resistance at the previous day's close. I take the position and I size all the way up. We get the 15% move that I'm looking for, and I close out at 15%. There was no other reason for me to close out of this trade other than I knew we were fighting against the trend. I knew that was something that we were taking on, and I knew that this most likely wasn't me timing a reversal all the way back down to low of day. So I'm not looking for the 20% gain that I'm normally looking for. This was a designed scalp from the very beginning. So I want to make that super, super clear. Okay, designed scalp from the beginning. So that was it on the AMD trade. Before I get to the Microsoft trade, press that like button for me if you haven't done so already. And if you're not a subscriber to the YouTube channel, subscribe for me, please. I've got a 10,000 subscriber goal for the end of this year, and I think that we could probably get there. It's just the best way to support this type of work that I do, and it's free. right? Helps me out as a content creator. Microsoft, next one on the list here. It was a short idea. If I go back to the day trade watch list, short idea below $394. Now, this does something very similar to AMD, which is it bounces, it opens up, drops all the way to 394, and then bounces off of that level and rallies right back up. So I'm looking at this in real time as almost the same exact AMD type of trade that we just took, which is a stock that is too extended too soon up to a known point of resistance, which is going to be at this point your high of day, right? So there's your high of day, and that's all your resistance. So we get the break of the downtrend trend or the uptrend trend line right here. I go short about halfway through this red candle. I'm going to admit I do not get the best fill on this. Normally, I would have liked to enter up here. I would have done better if I had entered up here. But I didn't. I entered about halfway through this candle here thinking we're going to get the sell-off move back closer to the low of day. And again, this is just a designed scalp play, right? I'm only looking for 10 or 15% profit here. And it doesn't go the way that we expect. It starts to consolidate and chop and chop and consolidate and chop and consolidate. I mean, this is the world's most boring trade. We're sitting in this for this whole time, and I finally make the decision right here. I'm like, you know what? Microsoft's not pressing any higher, and I've got a terrible fill. I wasn't happy with my cost basis. I want to lower my cost basis, so I do average into this trade here, adding to the position short. And we're still stuck in consolidation, and then finally we start to get a move down, right? And I'm not up, I'm looking for that 10 or 15% here. I'm not up 10 or 15%, but I will note I did close the position out down here, and here's why. This is at 10:25 a.m. If we look at the price action on SPY today, it was also very, very choppy, right? We get a symmetrical triangle formed, which is a series of lower highs and higher lows all converging to this point right here. When this triangle breaks down, this is at 10:23 a.m. When this triangle breaks down and hits the previous day's closing price, in my mind, I'm thinking, let's go. This is confirmation. We now have market backing. Microsoft's going to sell off, right? And Microsoft is already kind of trending down. This is at 10:21. This is at 10:23. So the moment SPY sells, Microsoft doesn't sell. Instead, the next candle, it rallies right back up. And when I see that happen, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this thing's actually not going to come down. Because if you have such a strong sell on the overall market like that, and the stock that you're in or looking at is still consolidating or even pushing up, it's kind of showing relative strength a little bit, right? So, I was looking for the 10 or 15%. I was thinking maybe we could get it with SPY selling, and Microsoft goes green. And I'm like, you know what? It's not even worth it for me to be in this trade anymore. The next candle red that we see printed that's offered, I went ahead and took my profits on that. I don't even think that I made 5% on this trade. So, it just is what it is. Really, I don't want to say a terrible trade or a bad idea. It's just something that didn't really work out for us. After we entered, the price action here did not give us any sort of follow through down. Had we at that time taken the Apple trade short, I think it was on the break of 195, either here or here. Had we at that time taken Apple short instead of Microsoft, you see the move that follows, right? This would have been profitable for us. So just pick the wrong stock. That's all that it is. And there's no way of us knowing that it was the wrong stock in real time. The trade idea was correct. It just, the price action didn't give us any sort of follow through. So is what it is. I told the team, a couple of times here we were at break even or slightly green. I told everybody, you can manage this trade how you want. Just, if you feel like closing it, I don't think it's going to go anywhere, right? If you feel like closing it out at break even, wash trade, go ahead and do so. Okay, that's it. That is my trades. Those are my trades for the day. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow when we continue that $1,000 account challenge.